Hey folks, Marty up north here. I've had a few requests to talk about my pack and the stuff I take on some of my solo and my group trips, but today I want to talk about the gear that I take on a typical 3 to 4 day trip. I won't talk about the food is separate, but I'll talk about everything else today. Okay, so some of the things that are essential for my trips. So there's my pack. I'll talk a little bit about that. It's Arc'teryx. It's a 95 liter pack, so it's a really good pack. And then, essential for the trip, a thermarest, something to keep me warm because the ground can be pretty cold. I got a sleeping bag. Nothing too crazy about the sleeping bag. It's good for -5 or so I'll show about that. Of course, I got my tent. I'm a big fan of rope. Rope in the morning for, a large piece of rope for hanging the bear bag if I want to hang the food. Small rope for miscellaneous things. It's amazing what it can serve. I eat everything out of my cup. Literally, I mean, this is the cup I use for my tea, and then I'll eat. You've seen in my videos that I'm very minimalist when it comes to dishes. A little bit of personal toiletry, soap, toothbrush, toilet paper. I bring clothes. I mean, it's not about luxury. More on the clothes in a minute. And then there's all my cook gear. So I need to bring some cook gear in there. There's a stove. We'll focus in on that in a few minutes. And a couple of tools. My handy dandy saw, my Leatherman multi-tool, my camera. Okay, so first thing is a sleeping bag. After it's dry, the sleeping bag goes in the bag, and just stuff it in. Some guys will get a stuff sack for their sleeping bag to compress it even further. If it's really hot, like in July, I have a couple of sleeping bags. I have one in July that's good for warmer temperatures, and it weighs quite a bit less. So this is the sleeping bag. So then the sleeping bag is the first thing that goes into my pack. So a lot of packs have a bottom compartment for the sleeping bag. So the sleeping bag goes in the bottom of my pack. Now I like to pack everything always in the same spot. That way you get used to finding stuff quickly, and so I pack the same way every time. If I'm in the dark, I can find what I'm looking for. If I'm in a bit of a hurry, I can find what I'm looking for. So this is just me, but in the bottom is where I put my sleeping bag, and it is also where I put my trusty saw. And then I'll tighten all these belts afterwards. I pack it loose. I'll show you why. And then after that, I tighten everything, because when you're hiking, you really don't want that load to move around. So the next thing that goes in my bag then is all my kitchen, my cooking gear. So I got a pot. Obviously, this one's been on a few fires over the years. So one pot is sufficient for one person. Typically when I get to camp, you'll see I'm always boiling water. It's one of the first things I do. A little cup like this comes in handy. When I got water that's boiling, I can scoop out water without having to disturb the pot. It also gives me measurement. Some of the dried meals that I buy will require, a certain amount of water. They'll say a cup. So it's nice to have a measurement. So the cup, fancy pot gripper. Need something to lift that pot off. A couple of spoons. Never. I don't find I need a fork. A little scrubber. Plastic, cheap, they're $1. Stuff it in there, put it in there. An emergency fire starter or flint. Should never have to use that if you pack a lot of these. So I have one of these in here. I have one tucked away in my first aid kit. I have one in my pockets while I'm hiking, and I have one on top of the compartment. So I bring about 4 lighters. I'm paranoid, but life is so easy if you have a lighter. I bring a little jug of, I always bring a little bit of dishwashing fluid. It's good to clean your dishes once in a while, and I know some of you will make a comment about being environmentally sound. I can think of better ways to protect the environment than the little bit of dish soap that I might use out there. I mean, I ride my bike frequently instead of driving my car, live in a smaller house. There's so many things you can do. So please don't criticize my soap. A little bit of, I do bring chunks of Raid. You know, you light this up and it's just keeps the bugs away. Sometimes you can put a little chunk on the plate like that inside your tent, kill mosquitoes, whatever. It makes life comfortable. And then this is for emergencies, unless I'm going on a trail that requires it. But I do bring a very small stove. You guys will see, I've done videos on stoves. So the stove and the canister just get screwed in. So this is backup. It's actually backup if I can't make a fire. It's backup if it's raining too much, and it's also backup if I'm really lazy and tired. Sometimes you hike 20 kilometers in a day, and at the end of the day, you're just so tired that all you want is boil a little bit of water, make yourself a soup. You can even use these stoves underneath the vestibule in your tent. So for me, all of this stuff's in there, and then windscreen. So I put it in this pouch just to keep everything organized. And again, I always put it away. And this is my cooking gear. So my cooking gear is one of the heavier items that goes in the bottom of my pack. Now, the bottom of the pack is where I would also put the food, because the food is quite dense. So I put the food in the bottom of the pack. And a couple of other things I put in the bottom of the pack are things like the rope. The rope tends to just end up being in the bottom of the pack. It can be stuffed in there. Okay, so then, like I said, I don't bring a lot of clothes. I'm actually not wearing hiking clothes right now. I'll leave and I'll wear my hiking clothes, but in my clothes, I bring a small towel. I mean, it's not very big, but it can serve a few purposes. But if, you know, just washing in a creek or a lake, and I got my towel. I got very thin, lightweight fleece gloves. I often sleep with them. I find that when I'm sleeping, as long as my head is covered and my hands have something, I'm fairly warm. I'm not worried. So I got a toque. I typically bring only one additional t-shirt. So during the day, I wear the same t-shirt, and at night, it's nice to, you know, if I stop in camp and I wash up a little bit, then I can wear a clean shirt at night. So I change shirts. So I have a shirt that I wear during the day while hiking, and then I have a shirt that I wear while sleeping. One or two pairs of extra underwear, depending on the length of the trip. I mean, my philosophy on underwear and other clothes is that it doesn't make a lot of sense to change them every day. You're not in civilization. Even if you wash, you still smell. And even if I take out a clean shirt, the moment I start hiking, within minutes, I'm already sweating. And so, I don't care. It's just creature comfort. But I've hiked with people who like to bring pretty much a change of clothes every day. A couple of pairs of socks. I'm one of those guys who wears cotton and wool socks. And then I bring, same concept for pants. I'll hike in a pair of pants, and then I'll bring a pair of fleece pants for sleeping at night. And then I do bring, because we are in Alberta typically, and it can rain, so I have a pair of Gore-Tex pants and just a jacket that I like to carry on. Now, what I do is I just take this little bunch of clothes and I put it in just a stuff sack. And this sack is actually, this little bag is handy because it's the bag that I can also use I use it as a pillow. And actually the two things that I might use, that I need in case it gets cold quickly, I'll keep separate. I'll keep on top. So there you go. It's just a bit of clothes, nothing too much. And this is a compression sack, so if I was going for about a week-long or longer trip, then I would have a little bit of clothes that I would bring. So the clothes, same thing. Okay, so this is my first aid kit. I'll do a video where I just take this apart. I mean, everybody's got their own first aid kit. In there's moleskin for your feet. There's, tweezers. You might get a sliver or something, a little bit of electrical tape. I got some antibiotic ointment, carry some Advil, miscellaneous band-aids, triangular bandages, Q-tips. It's just, and a lighter buried in there, and some Robaxacet, a couple of things. I mean, you need to bring a first aid kit. So first aid kit also gets stuff in the bag near the bottom. And then Similarly to the first aid kit, I'll bring some duct tape, just a leftover roll of duct tape. Some people will actually take the duct tape and roll it around the water bottle, but my water bottle gets dipped in water all the time, so I just keep the duct tape separate. These zip ties are absolutely amazing. If you break a buckle or something on your pack, you can use zip ties for a variety of things. So in my case, the water bottle just goes on the side there, and the duct tape in the bottom, and I got a top pouch and an inside pouch, and I put things that I kind of need to just forget about on the inside pouch. All right, now here's my, it's already, you know, I'm not going to take it apart. You've seen this tent in some of my videos. This tent is got the fly and then the bottom of the tent, and the floor of the tent is the thickest material, the most solid material. So, and I'm very peculiar, so when I'm done in the morning, I like to dry my tent. And if I can dry everything, if it's a nice sunny day and I get an opportunity to dry everything, then I will pack it away dry. If I can't, typically the bottom is dry because it's under the tarp. So I'll pack this away and then I'll leave this near the top so I can let it dry during the day while I'm walking. But for now, everything's dry. So when everything's dry in this pack, it just goes into this pouch. It is amazing that these bags, like everything's packed at the factory, it fits so nicely in these bags, and then, you know, you always have a hard time getting it exactly back in the bag. But so that's the tent, and then the poles and the pegs are in there. So on this Arc'teryx bag, very nice compartment separate for the tent. So the tent goes on the outside, and just goes like that, and the pegs are in there. So that's the tent. Now the bag's starting to have some structure to it, and now I still got this big open space on top. And this is where the food would go. So it's about a pound a day. So if I'm going on a 2-3 day trip, I got food in there. But what I'm showing right now is basically the essentials that I take. Again, I'm hiking in the mountains, typically remote on my own, so I need to be self-sufficient, and the weather can turn very, very quickly. So some of you have said that I look like I pack a lot of gear. I don't think I do, and you'll see it actually doesn't weigh that much. Okay, so now one of the last things I pack is a thermarest, and this one needs to be rolled fairly tight, so I didn't. This is open. Close the valve. If you pack it away with the valve open, it's going to re-inflate itself inside its little pouch. A little clumsy today. And I could probably put this inside, but over the years I've learned to just strap it on the side. The reason I strap it on the side is sometimes you're taking a break during the day and you're sitting somewhere gorgeous, or maybe you even want to just have on some days I'll have a nap on the trail, and so it's nice to have the thermarest quickly on the side. I'll just literally pop it out, roll it out, and just sunbathe, have a nice nap. I got a pole on the side here that I don't always bring, but I kind of like one pole. I don't like two, but one. Sometimes if you got a creek crossing or something, the pack gets heavy, so it's nice to have one walking stick. So there you basically have it. Almost everything is in there. A couple of last items. I hike in boots, and I just bring a cheap pair of Crocs to walk around the camp. And when I'm packing my, like I said, the rain gear and the toque are things that I could need, so I don't want to be digging in and out. So those go on top. And then I have a Leatherman tool, a lightweight one. That's my knife if I need to. Actually, the knife comes in quite handy. In fact, the knife is probably all I need. I mean, the pliers could be used if you lost your pot gripper, I guess, or sometimes you might have something damaged, and you never know when you can use this. So again, it doesn't weigh that much. This is the Skeletool, so I carry that. And in the pouch for the Skeletool is actually, because I'm so paranoid, I always have lighters everywhere. So I got my pouch for the Skeletool, got a lighter in there. My water jug typically stays on the side of my bag, because if I get to it's just a habit. If I get to a creek, I like to dip the jug in the creek and drink some water, and I typically travel with this full of water. I got a couple of carabiners. I mean, the carabiners are handy if you when you're hoisting your pack up in the air. So the top is now, last thing, fuel should have gone in earlier, but so that's the top of the pack. That's the main compartment. Main compartment is closed. Then the very top is where I keep just some toiletry and some personal items. So, a soap, a little bar of soap. I got a candle in there. Never know when that can come in handy. Toothbrush, toothpaste, a little bit of shampoo. I carry a small flashlight. That's all you need is these little LED lights. I got another one that I carry just randomly. They're kind of handy. Goes in there. Oh, and a little notepad and a pencil to make some notes if necessary. Something I forgot, something I need to repair for the next trip. And there was one other thing I wanted to show. Oh, I mean, the water in Alberta is drinkable everywhere. You can, not in Alberta, but in the national parks where I hike. But just in case, I do bring in a couple of tablets for treating the water. So that goes in the top. Trusty toilet paper. And then to make these fantastic videos, I bring a little tripod, my little camera, and always a couple of spare batteries. That goes in the top. Some insect repellent, and a book. Then when it's all together, it's all about trying to make everything as tight as possible so that it doesn't move around on you, doesn't bounce. And quite often, I mean, I'll set it up at home, I'll get to the trailhead, I'll start walking. First few miles, you might find something is pushing the stove, the pot, something might be in the wrong place. You gotta shift it around. So, yeah, so then once it's all packed, so that's it. Belt adjusted, chest strap, and just do a bit of fine tuning. But I can carry this pack quite easily. It's not overly heavy, and a couple of extra pounds of food, and we're good to go for 3-4 day trips, even climbing hills. So let's see what it weighs. So I'll weigh myself with the pack on. Let me zoom in. So it's showing 215.9. So then take off the pack. Don't you folks laugh at my weight. So without the pack, what was it, 215.9, and without the pack, 181. So 34 pounds. So it's not that bad. That's what I carry for a 3 to 4 day trip, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And please send me your questions, and I'll be glad to answer them.